Welcome back to another episode of This Old Cook. If it's your first time here, then just welcome. What we're going to make today, it's going to be a good video today. It's nice and easy. What we're going to make is slow roast whole leg of lamb my way. It's very easy to follow. Once it's in the oven, you don't need to do anything about it. It's a 7-hour cook. So there's a couple of steps before you get it in the oven. So we'll go over to the other side now. I'll get set up and show you the ingredients, and then we'll get cracking. So I'll be seeing you in a minute. Right, so here we are. Here's all the ingredients. There's not that many ingredients to this. I've got a whole leg of lamb, quite an extravagance because lamb's really expensive here at the minute. This leg of lamb weighs about 2.5 kilos, maybe slightly under. We're going to use 8 cloves of garlic, nice big fat cloves of garlic. We're going to use 400 milliliters of lamb stock. You can use beef stock, chicken stock, whatever you have. I quite like this. I don't make lamb stock, so I'm going to use this. We're going to want 500 milliliters of a good quality red wine, one that you're going to drink. This happens to be quite a nice Malbec. You can use a Beaujolais or any other full-bodied red wine. We're going to be using some redcurrant jelly. I have 4 carrots that I'm going to cut into chunks, and 2 large brown onions that I'm also going to cut into chunks. Excuse me. I've got the oven preheating to 225 degrees Celsius. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the lamb in at that high temperature to just quickly sear the outside a little, and then we'll get on with the rest of it. As I say, it's quite a long cook, but you don't need to do anything with it once it's in the oven. We're going to roast it at a very low temperature. You can just leave it under that, but I'll show you that anyway in a minute or two. So back in a second. Right, so here we are. You can see in the pan here, I've chunked up all the carrots, I've chunked up the onions, and I've crushed the cloves of garlic. You don't need to cut them up, just leave them as chunks. I have the lamb leg now out of the oven, so we're going to put that on top. It is quite hot, so that's on top. I mean, that looks good already. What I'm going to do now is just give a little drizzle of oil just around the veg on the outside. You won't need any more than that. That was just a bit of rapeseed oil, because obviously you'll get some fat coming out of the leg. So I'm going to add the lamb stock. I'm going to add the 500 ml. I'm just going to measure this out. Oh, that wine smells lovely. 500 ml of red wine goes in. That's it. What we're going to do now is we're going to cover the whole thing in a tent of foil. You may have to use a couple of layers of foil. We want to get a nice seal around the pan, because we don't want, over the long cooking period, we don't want all of the liquid. Some will evaporate. We don't want all of the liquid to evaporate out. And over those 7 hours, the meat is going to just be so meltingly soft. It's quite incredible. So I'm going to cover this with a bit of foil, show you what that looks like. I've reduced the oven now down from 225 degrees Celsius. That's the temperature we use to just quickly sear the meat. 225 degrees Celsius is actually 437 degrees Fahrenheit. So I've now reduced the oven temperature down to 110 degrees Celsius. This is a fan oven, by the way, which is 230 degrees Fahrenheit. 110 Celsius, 230 Fahrenheit. It sounds quite low, but it's low and slow. It's beautiful. So let me get the foil on. I'm sorry about the noise. I don't think you can kind of see what I'm doing. I don't want any part of the foil to touch the skin of the lamb because it will stick, and we don't want that. I don't want to pull the skin off. So we just leave it as a nice tent. Just try and get it as tight as you can. Don't tear the foil. Otherwise all the steam will escape. The liquid that's left we're going to make a beautiful sauce out of. It's quite incredible flavour. Right, so I hope you can see that and figure out what I've done here. It's all nice and tight around the entire edge. Okay, there's none of it touching the lamb underneath. It's all and it's as tight as you can without tearing it. You need a strong kitchen foil for that. So I'm just going to pop that in the oven now, and then I'll see you in 7 hours. You need to do nothing to this now. Just put it in the oven, come back in 7 hours and check it out. Right, so after 7 hours, I've just taken this out of the oven, and you're going to see it as I do. I've not looked. So let's take the foil off and see what. Oh man, the smell is phenomenal. Right, so we've got this lovely leg of lamb. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the leg of lamb out. I'm going to put it on a meat tray whilst I strain off the jus, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what happens next. Right, so I've strained off all the vegetables and the stock that's in there. I'm going to pop this back in the oven that I've set at 200 degrees centigrade for just about 10 minutes, and then I'll get it out. We'll come back and I'll show what it looks like. Okay, so here it is, fresh out from the oven. Let's just see if it's tender or not. Yeah, that seems okay. Man, that's so soft. So I'm gonna just put a little bit of rosemary on there. I'm gonna cover it back up with the foil and let it sit. It can sit, you know what, it can sit there for like 30-40 minutes and it'll still be hot inside. So we'll just leave it right there, and we'll come back shortly when I've done all the rest of the stuff. Right, so I've strained off the carrots and the other veg. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in that was a lovely noise. 2 heaped teaspoons of redcurrant jelly. There we go. What a lovely noise. So I'm going to bring this up to a simmer. Now, where are we? I'm going to put it on 12, and I'm going to let that come to a simmer, and then we're going to reduce it to the thickness that you kind of want. And there it is. This can be good. Right, so I've been reducing this down for about 10 minutes. I'm just going to add a little bit of about 10 grams of butter into this. It's going to make it really shiny. Oh yeah. Little whisk. I've just turned the heat off for now. You know, it smells fab, like really. So whack the heat back up. I've got in here, I have some corn flour and some water. In America, it's called slurry. I hate that word, but bring that up to a nice bubble. Just going to turn it down to 10. Put a bit of corn flour in, just a little splash. When you put that, it's going to start to thicken. You can see already that's starting to thicken. Bring it up to a bubble. There it is. See that? A little bit more. It's gonna taste gorgeous, I promise you. Thickening nicely. A little bit more corn flour. Yeah, that looks good to me, mate. Absolutely. So there it is, slow roast leg of spring lamb. Let's get our little deep gravy boat out, and the reduction of sauce, and oh, man, that's just like glorious. Absolutely glorious. Look at that. That sauce is spectacular. Well, I do hope you enjoyed that one. That was quite a short video, but a long cook. It's one of my favourite ways to cook leg of lamb. I love slow roasting. It's a great way to cook large joints of meat like that. So if you enjoyed that, then give it a bit of a like and maybe subscribe. I want to say thanks to all the folks that have subscribed so far. It is much appreciated. And I'll see you on the next one. See you then.